Hello and welcome to Stuff Sketched with Gregg Schigiel. I am Gregg Schigiel and you are watching me draw. On this episode of Stuff Sketched, I am taking some characters and drawing them in the DC animated universe style, the Bruce Timm Batman the Animated Series style, however you want to refer to it. And the characters I'm doing in this style are characters from an independent publisher called Ahoy Comics. They have a series called The Wrong Earth, or rather it started with a series called The Wrong Earth, and then a second miniseries called Dragonfly and Dragonflyman. So The Wrong Earth was about those two characters, Dragonfly and Dragonflyman, who are from alternate universes, alternate Earths, Earth Alpha and Omega, and they get transported to each other's Earth of a fashion. It's very good. I don't know that it's a kid's comic per se. I know these videos are marked for kids, but it's for any parents or grown people watching this. It's very entertaining. It is also a play on two very distinct approaches to the characters Batman and Robin. The Dragonflyman version is a nod, homage, whatever word you want to use, to the 60s Batman camp era, and the Dragonfly version is the darker, grittier, more intense version that people seem to really like when it comes to Batman. So what the creators of this series, Tom Peyer, the writer, and Jamal Igle, the artist and character designer, at least of The Wrong Earth, and in the second series, Peter Krause is the I think that's his name, right? Peter Krause? Or is Peter Krause the actor? Hold on. Let me look at this. Yeah, it is Peter Krause. There is an actor, though, and I'm forgetting what his first name is, but maybe it's also Peter? No, it can't be. It doesn't matter. I'm not looking it up. Anyway, Peter Krause drew the second miniseries. I think Jamal still did the character designs on it. Anyway, so I thought these are Batman. I don't know if archetypes is the right word, but Batman treatments, and one of the most beloved and I would say respected and awesome treatments of Batman is the Batman the Animated Series from the 90s. So I thought, hey, maybe there's a third Earth where it's Dragonfly / Dragonflyman and Stinger, his sidekick, as animated characters in that style. So I did a little pre-sketching before I did this a while back. This is an idea I've had for a good number of, probably months. Having just read Dragonfly and Dragonflyman, the second miniseries, it brought the idea back in my head. But I did some preliminary sketching, and it was interesting because the two different versions of Dragonfly / Dragonflyman have different design elements. So what I tried to do with this is marry the two in a way that I guess retained some of the elements of each one. So for instance, Dragonflyman wears goggles with antenna coming out of it, and Dragonfly and his nose is exposed, and Dragonfly has his nose covered with a full cowl and chin thing, but he just has sort of like lenses, not goggles. So with Dragonfly on this one, I sort of made the goggles bigger, or the lenses bigger, with sort of different kinds of antenna, covered the nose but didn't cover the chin, and etc. The gauntlets seem to be the same in both versions of Dragonfly. The cape is slightly different, but only slightly. Dragonflyman's cape is kind of clear. Dragonfly's cape is purple, like the rest of, or like the other portion of his costume. I will be coloring this, so you'll see my color treatments. With Stinger, again, I thought about how Robin was designed for the Batman cartoon, and then how Robin was redesigned in later seasons. I almost did some bigger liberties with Robin. I almost changed his pants from the way they will be and the way they are in the comics to something where his entire bottom, like his legs, would be all red. But I didn't do that. In Stinger, in the Earth Omega, which is the Dragonfly, or the Darker Earth, Stinger has also a cowl with his hair coming up like a mohawk. In the more friendly, brighter Earth Alpha, Stinger's got this hair that sort of shoots up in the front. So I've kept that. So I think my Stinger is closer to the Earth Alpha version. Although I think the costume elements, yeah, I think I stuck to more Earth Alpha because I like the boots in Earth Alpha, and in general, it just I stuck with that one and the way the cape is treated. So if you're gonna ding me on anything, you can ding me on that. There's the way the cape works. It's like wings. It's a charming design. So as per usual, so that was all the penciling. I do a lot of, or a significant amount of work drawing stuff in the DC animated style. So the construction of those figures, which is what was happening while I was blabbing on about the contents of the comics that inspired this. The construction of it is something I know pretty well. And if you were paying attention, you could see the manner in which the stuff gets constructed. It's a construction I like a lot, and I use it. I think I've mentioned this in a past video. I use it when I'm designing characters. I just sort of build a frame in the shape of a basic body, and it tends to lend to finding out what designs are going to work or not work. It's a very simple, clean form to work on. The inking, once the structure is there, the inking can happen pretty quickly. Now there's not a lot of defining of musculature or form or those sorts of things, and part of that is it was Stinger. He's a kid, so he's not going to be super ripped unless he's that little Hercules kid that would appear on, I think he's on YouTube videos and stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do not worry about it. You're not missing out on anything. But also with these, a lot of the form happens in the color. I could go in and add a lot of solid black, and if I was doing a black and white drawing, I would do that. So with Stinger, all the parts that are red would have black shadows to define the sort of darker spaces. And with Dragonfly or Dragonflyman, that's the question. Is what would he be called in this version? Would he be Dragonfly or Dragonflyman? That I don't know. That's a question perhaps for Tom Pyre. What was I saying? Oh, the form. So yeah, with Dragonfly / Dragonflyman, I would make the purple parts would have the sort of darker elements. What happened there was I felt like I overdrew the lenses, made them too big and clunky, so I streamlined them a little bit. Also in that version, I drew eyes behind the lenses, and you'll see in this next pass I do not do that. I also gave the back of his helmet a little of a flare backwards. That is the way Dragon flies. He's got a helmet kind of thing that points back like a bike helmet, I guess. The chest symbols are another sort of hybridization of a fashion. Dragonfly is inside of a triangle. Dragonflies is sort of an open space. What's happening here is I'm now deciding, oh, maybe I should draw some buildings, some rough buildings, and I thought they just looked silly. So instead, I'm just going to go with basic action shock lines. Lazy choice? Yeah, probably. But I don't know. Works well enough. So now at this point, you can freeze the image and color it in yourself if you want. But I'm going to go in and start coloring this thing. At this point, the video will speed up significantly. Coloring takes me longer than drawing does. So for me, it's a little tedious, so I speed it up extra fast in these videos. I think it's just fast enough that it's not super boring, but enough where you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Right now, I'm just dropping in flat colors, and then in the next chunk, you'll see me build some more form and shape to these figures, so they don't look quite as flat. Dimension, that's the word. I give them a little bit more dimension. Another dimension, another dimension, another dimension, another dimension. So yeah, anyway, it's a very entertaining comic series. Worth seeking out if you are somebody who likes reading comics, used to read comics but doesn't anymore. It has a little bit of juice for everybody of every stripe. So in Clip Studio Paint, which is the program I'm using, I didn't have the patience to look for any kind of like airbrush tool, so I used a colored pencil, a very large colored pencil, hence the sort of spackling effect. Splattering? Spackling? Whatever. Doesn't matter. So now you can see, as I'm coloring in Stinger, how the addition of shadows helps create form and depth and dimension. Another dimension. And now on to Dragonfly/Dragonflyman, where, again, same deal is going on. And then the purple really sort of bring it home. In hindsight, I feel like the background probably could have been a darker color all around, something a little moodier. But, you know, clearly I didn't give the background all the juice it could have gotten. And for that, I apologize. But yeah, there it is. That's and I go in and add some highlights to the wings, and that wraps it up. Dragonfly and Dragonflyman animated style. That's about all the stuff I have left to say. I'll see you next time.